Daughter, I have been present in every second of absolute silence that has cut your soul in recent times. You came here because the weight of the evil done to you became too heavy a burden for your hands, and your heart, tired of waiting, cried out for a sign. I saw the exact moment the slander was uttered. I saw the contempt in the eyes of those who should have loved you, and I felt the pain of that betrayal that left you devastated in the gloom of your room. You search for answers, for a glimmer of light in the midst of this tunnel of injustice, and I am here to confirm that your realization was not a matter of chance, but a preordained encounter in the court of heaven. Many wonder how you are still standing, but they do not know that my arm sustained you while the world tried to bring you down. I ask you, do you have the courage to believe that what seemed like your end is, in fact, the setting for my greatest intervention? There is a void in your mind, a question that haunts you every night about why there is so much struggle, and I have come to fill that void with my truth. Just as I honored Joseph before those who sold him and exalted Hannah when her silence was a cause for mockery, I am moving the pieces of your destiny. Stay with me until the last second of this message, for what I will reveal to you today will change the way you see every wound that still bleeds. At the end, I will whisper a specific phrase in your ear, a prophetic key that you will write as a seal that your victory has been decreed. If these words that I pronounce now are touching the deepest part of your being, tell me in the comments below your name, the country and city where you are watching this video, and also what time it is there at this exact moment. I want you to register your presence at my altar, and now let your soul breathe a sigh of relief and write with all your faith. Lord my God, I am here. I subscribe to this channel because I love you with all my heart, and I want to hear your voice guiding my steps. Feel my presence now, flooding the environment where you are. It doesn't matter if your hands tremble as you hold this device, or if tears insist on falling down your tired face. The justice that is coming today is not filled with hatred, but with a righteousness that puts everything in its proper place. I saw the evil, I saw the plan forged in the dark, but what I have prepared for your future will make all this pain seem like just a bad dream at dawn. But I have not yet shown you all that my eyes behold about your tomorrow. If this first touch of my love has reached your spirit, leave your sign of gratitude and share this word with that person you know who also cries in secret. What have you been giving to me in your early mornings? Write in the comments our first sealing word, divine justice. But listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you about what happened in that moment when you felt most alone will change everything you think about protection. I saw you in the kitchen, at that time, when the world seemed to have stopped spinning and the silence was so dense it hurt my ears. The cold tile under your bare feet, in the middle of that endless night, was no colder than the feeling of emptiness that tried to settle in your chest. I saw you holding that phone, the screen's glare reflected in your tired eyes, waiting for a word of comfort that never came, or perhaps suffering from the weight of news that stole your sleep. You looked at your own hands and noticed the slight tremor, a fragility that you hide from everyone, but which is completely exposed before me. People around you admire your posture, the way you carry the burdens of your family without complaining, but I saw the exact moment you locked yourself in the bathroom, turned on the tap to muffle the sound, and let the sob escape freely. I was there when the grey morning light began to filter through the crack in the curtain, and you felt your body weigh tons, as if getting out of bed was an impossible sacrifice. The world demands you be unshakable, but I, your father, embrace your humanity. I counted every tear that ran down your face, and that you hurriedly wiped away with the back of your hands when you heard footsteps in the hallway, donning the mask of strength once more. Many believe you are made of an unbreakable rock. You yourself try to convince yourself of this lie so as not to crumble before those who depend on you, but I have known you since before your first breath. I know the deep mark that unjust word left, the one spoken with the intention of diminishing you, and which still resonates in your mind like an echo of contempt. They think that the harm they caused you has been forgotten by time, that the wounds have healed on their own. But my gaze does not waver. What they did to you in silence and cowardice, I am processing right now in the courts of my faithfulness. You have walked down this narrow corridor where the walls seem to close in on you. But listen to what I tell you now. The scene of your solitary struggle was the ground where I cultivated your greatest spiritual authority. Every time you chose to forgive instead of retaliating, every time you swallowed your own pain so as not to hurt others, you were being forged into something your enemies cannot even imagine. If this recognition of your desert makes your heart vibrate now, don't keep it to yourself. Have you ever felt that your loudest cry was the one you gave in absolute silence? Show that you are part of this family of faith, and share this message with a friend who is also exhausted from carrying the world on her shoulders. Write in the comments so that heaven may record your victory. He saw my silence. But don't think the story ends in pain, for I am about to show you how gratitude in the midst of trials opens doors that no man can close. My beloved daughter, as I look at your heart that still beats fast from the pain you faced in the silence of your home, I also see the desire that is born within you not only to receive, but to extend your hands so that others may also be reached by this eternal comfort. You know that nothing you have is by chance, and that every gesture of surrender is a response to my faithfulness. Therefore, if it is possible for you now, only if it is possible, transform this profound gratitude into a seed of love for this channel that has welcomed you today. Consider my love and that of my Son Jesus for your life, and contribute using the link in the description of this video and in the comment we have pinned for you. There you will find the sacred place where your offering of love can be deposited and consecrated before the Creator of all things. You can contribute any amount. If you wish to offer a different amount, simply type what you want. Always remember, give only what fits in your heart and what brings you true peace. I receive each gesture with infinite love. The material value doesn't matter. What truly matters is the pure heart with which you give. Because what seems little to you can be much to the one who receives it on the other side of this blessed channel. Whoever contributes any amount with a sincere heart, don't forget to leave your name and city along with your contribution. I promise you that on the first day of the following month, in a unique and special video on our channel and on the Divine Love the Voice of God page, your name will be remembered and mentioned in gratitude, being covered by divine blessings released in sincere prayer. For it is written, each one should give what he has decided in his heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. This word is in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 7. Every offering made in faith is a precious seed before me, your Lord, and I will not fail to bear fruit in your fertile soil. I see what you do in secret and reward you in the sight of all men. Persevere until the end, because I still want to touch your heart with my voice as Father and Creator. I know that many times you look up and the only thing you see is a cold, impenetrable metal ceiling. You cry out, the words leave your mouth laden with the weight of your despair, but it seems they hit the sky and fall back to your lap, empty of answer. This is the bronze sky you have felt above your head in recent months. I saw the times you sat on the edge of your bed, your head resting in your hands, and felt that the air around you was too heavy to breathe. You whispered my name, but the only sound that returned was the noise of the wind outside or the ticking of the clock on the wall marking seconds that seemed like hours of agony. You feel that your sky has become a solid barrier that prevents your pleas from reaching my ears. And in the silence of your kitchen, as you look at the already cold coffee cup forgotten on the table, the thought that I have abandoned you tries to take root in your soul. But listen to what your Father tells you now. Silence is not absence, and the bronze sky is merely an optical illusion of your pain. While you feel that nothing is happening, I am moving the structures of the invisible. Silence is the environment where I work most, for it is in the stillness of the night that the seeds break through the earth and begin to sprout. You think that the injustices you have suffered have been ignored because the answer has not yet knocked on your door, but I am only aligning perfect justice, the kind that leaves no room for error. For it is written in Lamentations chapter 3, verse 26, "It is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord." This verse is your sustenance today. Learning to trust when you hear nothing is the trial by fire that refines the gold of your spiritual character. If this truth is bringing some calm to the storm raging within you, leave your sign of presence. What do you feel when everything is silent around you and you are alone with your thoughts? If this video is the balm you needed, like this message so I know you received this comfort, and subscribe here if you feel that my voice is what your soul most desires to follow. Share this video with someone who is also facing the silence of heaven and needs to know they are not alone. Write in the comments our word of confidence for this moment. God works in silence. But prepare your spirit, because what I'm about to show you is something I have prepared to be your daily nourishment, a companion for your most difficult nights. My daughter, as you walk through that desert where injustice tried to dry up your hope, I don't want you to feel helpless when this encounter ends. I know that the nights can be long, and that the weight of waiting for my intervention sometimes makes your faith falter in the middle of the day, exactly when no one is looking at your weariness. Therefore, if your heart desires to go even deeper into intimacy with me and find a safe haven for your thoughts, I have prepared a special gift for you, a journey I wrote with all my love and affection for each of my beloved daughters and sons who sincerely seek my face. It is a digital book called Divine Love Devotional, The Voice of God. It is not just a collection of phrases, but it was prepared to be your constant companion and a balm for your wounds, to embrace you day after day, in silence and in the deepest intimacy, being a guide for your soul while my justice fully manifests in your life. You can find access to this path of light in the link we left in the description of this video and also in the first pinned comment below. And listen to what your Father tells you now. If today is not possible for you, do not allow guilt or worry to enter your soul. Stay with me here, steadfast in this message, because I too will sustain you through these words and my real presence that surrounds you now. And so that your heart may find complete peace and you have no doubt about how to receive this love, right after you register, access to this journey of love will arrive directly at the email address you provided. There, you will find all the instructions explained step by step in a very simple way, so that you can begin to walk with me in a new and restorative way. For it is written, "Let me hear of your loving kindness in the morning, for in you I trust. Show me the way I should go, for to you I lift up my soul." This promise is in the book of Psalms, chapter 143, verse 8. This devotional is my invitation to those who, like you, need clear direction and the constancy of my voice at all times in life. Now, take a deep breath and continue by my side. Have you ever felt that, even in the midst of a crowd, the only voice that truly matters is the one that whispers peace within your heart? If you desire my presence to be your daily nourishment, like this message as an act of surrender and subscribe here, so that my word may never be lacking in your journey. Share this gift with someone who also longs for divine guidance today. Write in the comments the word that seals this daily pact, constant presence. But do not let your attention wander now, for what I have placed in your hands to unlock what is bound is something you have not yet fully understood. Many times, you look at the closed doors of your life and feel an exhaustion that numbs your soul. I saw when you stood before that gate, or before that situation that seems like an insurmountable concrete wall, and felt the metallic weight of the keys you carry in your pocket, realizing with bitterness that none of them serve to open what you most desire. You feel small, powerless, as if fate has locked you out of your own happiness, while the evil done to you seems to have free rein to roam where you cannot enter. But listen to what I, the Lord of the Keys, have to tell you in this moment of revelation. The authority I have given you does not depend on human locks or the protocols of this world. I saw the trembling in your fingers as you tried to solve everything by your own strength, and I saw when you gave up, letting the tears fall onto the bunch of useless keys you held. In that moment of surrender, in the heavy silence of your room, you thought it was the end of the line, but it was only the beginning of my operation. I did not merely give you keys of metal that rust. I placed in your spirit keys of light, forged in the fire of your trial, capable of opening dimensions that the human eye cannot reach. For it is written in the book of Matthew, chapter 16, verse 19, "I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." This is not a distant concept, my daughter. It is your current reality. You have the power to undo this anguish and to bind the peace that surpasses all understanding upon your home. What is bound in your past, those cursed words and the plans of those who tried to destroy you, lose their power now because my justice has delivered the master key into your hands. Have you used this authority, or have you only wept before the closed door? Feel the warmth of my presence now, as if I were holding your hands and teaching you to turn the right key in the spiritual world. What seemed impossible to resolve is about to make its first opening click. If you feel that heaven is returning to you the control that pain tried to steal from you, leave your sign of gratitude. Have you noticed that the biggest doors open when you finally stop trying to force them open with your hands and start using your faith? Like this message, if you feel a new authority being released within you now, and subscribe here to continue receiving kingdom strategies. Share this video with someone you know who is going through a time of locked doors. Write in the comments our word of power for this moment. I have the keys. But don't rush out, because what I'm going to seek now in the place where the world has forgotten you is something that will publicly restore your dignity. I saw when the world turned its gaze away from you, as if your story had already been fully told, and there were no more pages to be read. There was a moment, perhaps in a hospital corridor or sitting on a park bench as the sun set, when you felt like a shadow, a trace that the wind erases without leaving a memory. I saw when you looked at your own hands, marked by time and effort, and felt a lump in your throat, realizing that those you once held in your arms now barely have time to hear your voice. The feeling of being invisible is a coldness that doesn't go away with blankets, a desert that settles in the middle of a room full of people. You felt forgotten in the corner of life, like an old photograph that has lost its color inside a dusty drawer. But listen to what your Creator tells you now. I never turned my eyes away from you. In that instant when your heart cried out if anyone could still see you, I was holding your face between my invisible hands. The world may measure you by your usefulness, by what you produce, or by what you can offer. But I measure you by the love I poured into your creation. I am going to retrieve right now the pieces of your dignity that have been trampled by words of contempt and acts of ingratitude. I am taking you from this place of shame and placing you in a prominent place that is not made of human applause, but of divine honor. For it is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 49, verse 15, "Can a woman forget her nursing child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb? Yes, they may forget, yet I will not forget you. This is my promise to your weary soul today. You are not a remnant, you are not a burden. You are my most precious treasure that was kept for this very moment in history. Feel now the warmth of my rescue. I am restoring your voice, returning the sparkle to your eyes and making those who ignored you recognize that my hand is upon your life. Have you ever felt that your existence has become a secret between you and heaven, while everyone else seems to have left you behind? If you receive this rescue and feel that your importance is being restored now, like this video as a sign that you have heard me. Subscribe to this channel if you want my voice to be the companion that never fails, and share this message with that person you know also feels invisible and forgotten. Write in the comments our declaration of value for today. God sees me, but there is still a banquet that I am preparing, and what I will serve you before those who humiliated you is something your eyes have never seen. You walked through the desert with tired feet and a dry throat, feeling the sand of humiliation seeping into every crevice of your soul. I saw the times you looked to the horizon and saw only mirages of hope that vanished when you got close. But now the wind has changed direction. I am lifting you from the dust and leading you to a place of verdant pastures that I myself cultivated with your tears. Do you smell the fragrance of what is being prepared? It is not just the scent of a new beginning. It is the aroma of honor that replaces the smell of ashes that has clung to your garments. While those who hurt and slandered you watch from the shadows, waiting to see your ultimate defeat, I am spreading a spotless white tablecloth before you. I am placing upon this table the banquet of your restoration. Where there was lack, there will be abundance. Where there was scorn, there will be a silence of astonishment from those who doubted your worth. You will not need to say a single word to defend yourself, for my presence at the head of this table will be your greatest proof that I never left you. For it is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 23, verse 5, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows." Feel now this fresh oil descending upon your mind, calming thoughts of inadequacy and healing the scars of injustice. The banquet I serve you today is the peace that no one can steal, and the certainty that the evil done to you was merely fertilizer for your fruitfulness. Have you ever felt tired of only seeing others being blessed while you were left with the crumbs of the desert? Let that feeling go now, for your turn to sit and be served by the King himself has arrived. If you feel that the time of starving for justice is over and that the table is ready, like this video as an act of accepting my invitation. Subscribe here so that you never again have to walk alone on barren paths, and share this message with that person you know is also exhausted from fighting for a place in the sun. Write in the comments our banquet declaration for this moment. Table prepared. But hold your breath, because the signs I will send in the coming days are so specific that you will know, without any doubt, that my answer has already knocked on your door. You have been looking at the clock and at the door of your room with an expectation that almost takes your breath away. I saw when you stopped what you were doing, dishcloth still in your hands, and stood still for a few seconds, feeling a chill run down your spine and a strange thought cross your mind. Could this be it? You seek a sign, a bang, something that tears the veil of your doubt with the force of thunder, but my justice often walks with velvet steps on the carpet of your patience. In the next 3 or 4 days, pay attention to what seems common, but will bear the seal of my action. I will not speak to you only through great prodigies, but in the clinking of a metal spoon against the porcelain of your cup, in the name you will hear unexpectedly in a sidewalk conversation, or in that message that will arrive on your phone at a time that only you and I know as the moment of your greatest distress. You are afraid you are imagining things, that your spiritual need is creating fantasies, but I will give you a clarity that leaves no room for deception. I saw the weariness in your eyes when you read the news, or see the success of others, and wonder when your turn to be noticed will come. Listen carefully. The sign I send you is not to feed your ego, but to sustain your faith, which is hanging by a thread. For it is written in the first book of Kings, chapter 19, verse 12, "And after the earthquake, a fire. But the Lord was not in the fire, and after the fire a still small voice." It is in this whisper, which calms the trembling of your hands, that you will find the exact direction for the next step. You will not need to strain your vision or try to interpret complex enigmas. My answer will knock on your door with the gentleness of a breeze, but with the authority of one who governs the stars. Have you ever felt that your heart seems to know something that your mind cannot yet process? If you are attentive to my signs and wish to discern each movement of my hands, like this video as a commitment to vigilance, and subscribe here so that your spiritual sensitivity may be honed day by day. Share this message with that person you know is lost, amidst so many voices and needs to hear the gentle and delicate voice of the Father. Write in the comments our word of readiness for this week. I am attentive, but do not lower your guard now, for the protection I am extending over your lineage will reach roots you thought were forever dry. I saw your sleepless nights, my daughter, when the silence of the house seemed to echo your deepest concerns for those who carry your blood and your name. I saw when you passed through the door of their room, or when you looked at that old photograph on the shelf, feeling a tightness in your chest as you realized that time had passed, and the struggles of your lineage seemed to repeat themselves like a cycle of pain that never closes. You fear that the evil done to you will reach your own, that the wounds you carry will become the legacy of your children and grandchildren, and that the injustice that hurt you will eventually touch the roots of your tree. But I, the Lord of your story, am now descending into the depths of those roots that you thought were forever dry. Where the enemy thought he would find dry, cursed ground to sow discord, I am pouring out my living, restorative water. I saw your constant effort to maintain peace at that dinner table, your prudent silence to avoid fueling arguments, and your whispered prayer while washing dishes in the kitchen, asking that my protection be the wall that your weary hands can no longer build. You feel small and powerless before their choices, but your silent faithfulness is what keeps the heavens open over your house. I am sealing every crack, guarding the entrances and exits and ensuring that what was forged against you in the dark has no power over those you love. For it is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 13, "All your children shall be taught by the Lord, and great shall be the peace of your children. This is my covenant with you at this very moment. I am healing generational wounds you didn't even know existed, restoring bonds that pride and time tried to break, and protecting your descendants from invisible dangers you can't even imagine lurking at your gate. You can rest your heart now, for the guardian of Israel does not sleep, and my watchman is posted at the door of your family, preventing the evil done to you from exceeding the limit I have determined." Have you ever felt that your prayer is the only invisible thread that holds everything together when family storms begin to blow strongly? Let that heavy burden leave your shoulders and come to rest on mine. If you receive this decree of peace and protection over your lineage today, like this video as a seal of faith before the throne. Subscribe here so that your home may always be nourished and strengthened by my word, and share this message with a mother or grandmother you know who also struggles in prayer for theirs, secretly weeping for the future of the family. Write in the comments our word of protection and surrender for your home. My home is yours. Now take a deep breath and prepare your spirit, for the final word I have to seal this journey will unlock the strength you thought had been exhausted forever, revealing the secret I have kept for this final moment. In this moment of absolute stillness, where the sound of my voice seems to echo not only in your ears, but in every fiber of your being, I want you to close your eyes for a brief moment and feel the weight being lifted from your shoulders now. That iron armor you used to protect yourself from the arrows of injustice and contempt is falling to the ground, piece by piece, because in my presence you no longer need to fight to survive, you can simply rest. I saw the evil they tried to plant in your path, I saw the stones they placed to make you stumble, and I saw the poison of the words they hurled against your dignity. But today, before the entire spiritual universe, I decree that the time of your humiliation has come to an end. Do you remember that, at the very beginning of this secret meeting, I promised you a clear answer and a phrase that would be whispered to your heart like a master key? I did not bring you here to leave you with empty hopes, but to give you the weapon with which you will conquer any giant that still dares to rise up in your tomorrow. This phrase is not just a sentence, it is the breath of life that I breathe upon your weary bones, so that you may rise with a strength that does not come from your flesh, but from my own spirit. Listen now to what your Father, your Judge, and your Defender reveals to you as the absolute truth of your new season. The key that opens all doors, that silences your accusers, and that gives you the authority to walk on hot coals without burning your feet, is this: I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Yes, my daughter, engrave this in the depths of your soul. For it is written in the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 13, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Right now, with a heart overflowing with a certainty that the world cannot give you, this phrase in the comments, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. By writing these words, you are sealing your righteousness, accepting my banquet, and declaring that your dependence on me is your greatest victory. Do not turn away from my voice, for there is still much I wish to show you. Continue walking with me, immersing yourself in the other messages I have prepared for you in our special list of encounters. For with each step we take together, a new layer of healing will be revealed. What I have begun in you today is only the first movement of a symphony of restoration that will reach every corner of your life. I am with you today, tomorrow, and until the end of time. Receive now my breath of peace. Where there was pain, now my glory flourishes. Where there was injustice, now my face shines.